Welcome to another episode of Beyond Sunday, where we keep it real with faith and life because, as you all know, life be lifing. And today we're not going to talk about technically lifing to some degree. But it is Pastor Thomas's and Miss Sophia Thomas's 30th anniversary. And so we want to talk to them about love, life, happiness, the pursuit of happiness, and all that stuff. But as we always do, we do it with myself, Pastor Thomas, and we have a special guest today, Mrs. Sophia Thomas. So I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. I don't want to do all the big stuff.
Hey, other than Sophia Thomas, and this is my husband, that's pretty much all I have. I'm used to being behind the scenes, and you guys have plucked me out of my anonymity. Yeah. So I am here.
Well, I just want to let you know this wasn't my idea. I wanted to keep you behind closed doors. But all right, I want to just go ahead and start from the top. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the church members and people who watch don't know, but how did you all meet?
Ooh, great question. Okay. So I was visiting East Texas State University's campus with my friend, and we have a mutual friend, shout out Jan. And so she introduced me to him on campus. They were good friends. We were good friends. And so that's how we initially met. But it was a couple of years later before we actually started dating. We had graduated from, I graduated from SMU. He graduated from East Texas State. And then, now I'm really dating ourselves.
I mean, you ain't got to get a years.
No. But when I say how we, so our friend Jan, it was like just miscellaneous information. Like I just know stuff like that. And so they were on the phone talking, and then they three-wayed me in. So that's why I was like, that's kind of dating ourselves. And so next thing I know, he called me later without her, and I was like, hey, hello. And so then we just started talking after that.
Okay. So
it was a real random. I don't even remember.
It was a random question.
It was just a random question, and
so Jan was the playing matchmaker this whole time, basically.
Unintentionally. No, okay. It wasn't. We just had a mutual friend, and that's how we just connected. And so, yeah.
Wow. All right. So, what was the first thing about each other that made you think, like, yeah, this might be the person?
I'll let you answer because you called me on three-way.
Oh.
No, I think it was really like the kind of conversations that we were having. Mm-hmm. Like some of it was random stuff, but then it was more in-depth stuff. And then we found more things that we kind of had in common, like childhood experiences or things that we thought were interesting. And so we really just had genuine, enjoyable conversation.
So you pursued her?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Can't argue with that. So who said I love you first?
He did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be me.
Wow.
Yeah. We were driving on 635, visiting friends, and he's like, hey, I think I'm falling in love with you. I was like, ooh.
Oh, that's so cute. It was cute. I'm sorry.
Wow. Just wow.
I'm just saying, man. So like how long did it take for you to like say it back? Like, was it in that moment or was it another time where he's like, I think I'm falling in love with you. You're like, oh, that's nice.
No, I didn't respond with like, thank you. I didn't say that. I was like, okay, I think I'm falling in love with you too. And so, yeah, we would hang out all the time after work. We were just always.
We were together every day pretty much. Yeah.
Every day. So setting the scene here, you riding out 635. And what was playing in the background?
Oh.
Was it the Shy Lights?
No. There you go.
Once again. I know I said three-way, but
I'm just saying, man. You know,
we're not that old.
Just gotta ask.
No, not Shy Lights.
Okay.
No, but I believe it was maybe Blackstreet, or it could have been.
I think it was Blackstreet. I'm pretty sure it was.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
You two are both part of Greek letter organizations. When you all met, were you already a part of those organizations, or was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Because I was going to ask, did y'all go to each other's probates and stuff? But no. Okay.
Actually, I did see him step.
What?
I did because I was with my friend, and so I went.
PT stuff.
I was a stepmaster.
There's video, but I will not share
Yeah,
with
do not.
with
Hold on, don't worry. I'm gonna go look up the chapter name. Don't worry about it. I got you.
yes. And so I remember, I remember watching him step, and I was like, okay, I see.
He got a little rhythm.
I was like, yeah, he was, yeah. So it was a good time.
Did you see her step?
Oh
out?
no, I did it one time,
Once.
one and done. Wow. That probate show,
Okay, that was it. Outside of the probate, you ain't do nothing else.
nothing else.
Wow.
I traveled.
Yeah, he's
I traveled step.
yeah, you know.
Wow.
Traveled to shows and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, he did. I was not all of that.
That wasn't you.
coordination.
That wasn't you.
That was
You
not
weren't the social aspect of it. You were the working aspect of it.
correct.
Gotcha.
I mean, I did.
I mean, I'm not saying you didn't do anything social, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's when people look at it, that's like one of the big main pieces is you got to be out there, stepping and strolling.
Okay, not being in that part.
Okay.
Where am I?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So I see you all the time, and I've always wondered this question: do y'all argue at all? Like, have y'all ever argued?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Like that's a normal thing.
I wouldn't
I
say
think-
normal.
I think it's a lot less now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 30 years in, we're in it. It's like, where is he going? Where am I going?
Yeah,
we're in it now.
Because like now I see y'all just seem like y'all just get along very well. So it's like
we do.
minimal dissension.
Yeah, but we had to grow into that.
Right.
When we were in our early 20s when we got married.
Mm.
So it's like, you feel like I need to have the last word. I need to, prove that I'm right. Now it's like, you know what? We're good. You just say your piece, person accepts it, and you just kind of like, okay.
Okay. Yeah, and I plan on expounding on that a little bit more, but I want to be a little nosy for a second before we get into all the deep stuff here. So, y'all have one child.
Yes.
That's the one.
Who was the disciplinarian?
Strangely enough, he didn't need.
Really?
Yeah,
He was
like
pretty low key.
yeah, he was low key. There was not much discipline to be had.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if he was here now. Would he say that?
Hope so.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of.
Really?
No, there wasn't a lot of discipline.
I think as an only child, you're probably harder on yourself than other people could be.
Probably. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know
an
what
only
that.
child too. So that's
Okay,
what
yeah, I'm
was
about to say I don't
you're
know what
just
that life
kinda-
is like. So definitely my kids won't know that.
Yeah, I mean, room was always clean. Didn't break really any rules. Didn't break curfew. Tell him something once, he do it. Like I mean, yeah, there wasn't.
He was like, he didn't want to disappoint us. So he was,
Okay.
I was like, we got a good one.
Yeah. Very good job. Hey, can't argue with that.
Keeping him.
What was, or did you know that he wanted to go into ministry early, or
I was already in ministry.
He was already in ministry.
Yeah,
really?
Yes. But I was like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. That is good. I was like, oh, he's a believer. That's when you have this checklist.
Right, that's-
and you're
that's-
like, oh, he's a believer. That's great.
From a husband, that's a good thing.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful. But I was like, oh, that's good. That's okay. That's cute. I even remember me going to hear his first sermon, and I was like a little nervous because I was like, I don't know what to expect. How it's, and because I had feelings for him. I didn't want to say, oh,
That was trash.
exactly. But
Rewrite that. Don't do that one again.
But I remember leaving, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's really good.
Yeah.
I was like, I still remember. It was,
Then you fell more in love with him. Yeah.
I was like, okay, he's got potential. It was the sermon was hooked to the power source,
Right.
and it was. I still remember, and I was like, I was like, okay, he's really good, but I still didn't think this.
So for you navigating that life of a pastor's wife, like how has that been for you? Because I'm going to assume that just wasn't something that you woke up and you were like, yeah, this is the life I'm looking for.
Yeah, neither one of us.
No, this
not
was-
from the standpoint of being a pastor. No, neither one of us were thinking that.
Like, I was okay with him being like a minister because he would preach his Sunday and we can go home. Right. And we had the one son, and we'll just,
life was great.
It was great. We would just be home the rest of Sunday, just reading the paper, watching whatever, and just enjoying life. But this actually wasn't his first opportunity to pastor a church. And the first one, we said no. Or I said no. I was like, oh, no, I do not want that life. But God had a different story, and he was like, okay, you said no. I got something else for you. We're going to start one from scratch. And so, it was not at all what I thought 30 years ago.
Wow. Did it have any like negative effects on your marriage trying to navigate that life?
Yes. I remember we were going to dinner, and so we were trying to come up with things to talk about that didn't center around the church or our son, and we were like, oh, we got nothing. I was like, we have nothing to talk about. What happened to our lives? Like, we would always have good conversations, but everything kind of centered around that. So yeah, that was challenging.
That's interesting. Because do you think that that's just a part of growing with each other, or do you like, I guess in relationships and marriages, you always find that one thing that may pull you away from what you used to be. So do you think that it was specific to the pastoral life, or do you think that that's just a part of growing in relationships?
I think it's specific. I think it can depend on what type of career it is, because I wasn't in full-time ministry, and I had a corporate job, as a manager. So I had a team, and I was traveling, and I was in school, and starting the ministry obviously is a lot of work. So you're coming to it with nothing in terms of team and things like that. So you're building everything from the very beginning. And so it dominated a lot of our lives very early on. And that natural connection and friendship we had was replaced by, how do we get all these things done? So just trying to balance everything, having an active son, having both of us having careers. She had finished her master's. I was still working on my master's. And then she ended up transitioning into a different career. I had transitioned a couple of times along the way. So it was a lot. And so when we sat down to talk, there wasn't like we couldn't find much to talk about.
Right. Because that was the consumption of your life at that point.
Yeah, it was just all the things, right? So there was just a lot of stuff to deal with, like, oh, what do we have to do this Sunday? And Sundays came around real quick. Right. So, and we didn't live in Rockwall at the time when we planted the church. So there was the commute, there was all that was involved too.
And at the beginning, we were meeting at a school. So we had all of the equipment, sound equipment in our house. And so he would load up the stuff in his Pathfinder with his little workout clothes or whatever, and then he would change into a suit in the boys' bathroom at the school. So yeah, for many months, I just in our kitchen. Here's the speaker, here's the keyboard, like all the things. So yeah, it just kind of took over. And then he was doing well in corporate America. So I really thought that was our track. He was like a director. And I was like, oh yeah, that was like really great bonuses and things. I thought we were going in a different direction. But
yeah, that's something I didn't even know. Okay, so you was big time.
Yeah, he was doing great.
I was headed for the C-suite.
Yeah.
Like I was definitely headed for the C-suite. Yeah.
And then you just gave it up.
Yeah, I mean, once when we started ministry, the idea of full-time, I don't think we ever really talked about that. We never talked about full-time. It was bivocational. Like she said, my career was definitely headed up. And so, I had a lot of responsibility. I had an entire region that I was responsible for, and that was just only continuing to grow. And so traveling a lot. So there wasn't really a thought of being full-time vocational. That was not even a thing that entered our minds. And so as we continue to just push on and the church continued to grow, it was at one point in 2010, I think,
Yes.
when the trustees and deacons they sat me down and they were like, all right, enough is enough. Like, you need to leave corporate America and you need to come here full time. And I was like, no. Let me do another year or two. And I was trying to push it out. And they were like, nope, now's enough. Like, you need to do it now.
And even I think in his corporate job, there were, I think they started noticing that, his focus wasn't primarily on that job too. So it was just conflicting priorities. And so.
And then eventually.
It was hard to juggle all of it. Like work-life balance was really hard because when you throw in travel and trying to get back and then
you have a son and a
trying to
wife.
do all the things, it was a lot.
So and I guess for me, this question is going to be for the believers and probably the non-believers here. Like, what was the thing that made you be like, you know what, I'm going to choose God over, my corporate job that is looking really good?
Yeah, I think we always saw like God moving in ways that we knew were well beyond either of our skills or abilities. Like, we just saw God doing things all along. And so the burden to put more of myself into ministry continued to grow over time. At first, it was like, I'm going to balance these two things. But over time, the burden was like, hey, you really need to be there. And I remember I had gone to a funeral for one of our members' mother who had passed away. And this member had been with us since the very beginning. It was Crockett. He had been with us since the very beginning.
Okay.
His mother passed away. I remember I was leaving the service because I had to like take off work to go be there, and then had to go back to work because we had some things going on. And so I remember we were standing in the parking lot because she was there too, and they were headed to the cemetery. And she looked at me and she said, "You really should be with them. You should really be able to go and be with Crockett and doing all that." And it was kind of in that moment that I was like, yeah, it's getting to a point where I'm going to have to do something, And
So you encouraged.
Yes, because, I knew eventually we were headed that way.
Got you. Okay.
it became clear over time.
It became clear.
You can't do both of these things.
Yes, it was a challenge. And especially if we expected God to continue to use him and to grow the church. Like he said, it grew from us meeting in a school then to us being in an office building, and we saw how God was working throughout this whole time. And were we in this building or in the other building?
We were in the other building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. This is enlightening for me, and I've been going here for quite a couple of years now. So, question for all of the relationship folks out there and all the, my favorite show, Pop the Balloon folks. I saw this video. This is a video of like this. Well, I've seen a couple of them where they're getting married, and to love, honor, cherish, and then the word obey comes up, and then the woman is like, yeah, no, I'm not saying that, right? So my question is, what does submission, leadership, and partnership look like in a healthy Christian marriage today?
Well, I mean, I think that, for us, there had to be, it wasn't hard for us to get on the same page in terms of the vision, because we still do, right, have a lot of conversation about the vision of where God is taking us. And then as a leader, also as a partner, like she has a great deal of influence in terms of speaking into that vision. So it's not just like, this is what the Lord gave me, this is what we're doing. Like, we do have a lot of conversations, sometimes for days, us just about what the Lord is doing and where we're going, right? So there's a peace and a comfort that I get in that partnership because she's not only my wife, but she's also my sister in Christ. And so that's always important to remember. And I know how much she loves the Lord and how much she wants to see his kingdom come to earth. And so we've always been able to work real well together around, ministry. And that partnership has always been so important to both of us, and in terms of supporting each other. The other thing is, I'll say this publicly so everybody can know this. My wife has an incredible theological mind. Like, it's something that she doesn't really talk about or share, but you talk about somebody with an understanding, a deep knowledge, love, and appreciation for all things God. And so that's also something that's good. So I know when she speaks about something, she's speaking from a place of, understanding and spending time in scripture, spending time with the Lord, studying and those kinds of things. So that's always very beneficial. And I think it goes back and forth between the two of us. Like, y'all, just a couple of weeks ago, we were sitting at home having this talk about Revelation, the book of Revelation, and you would have thought we were talking about who gonna win the finals in the NBA. Like, we just going back and forth, just
so excited,
just chopping it, and then it said this and it, and just having these kind of conversations, and that's the way our relationship has been, and so that's always, beneficial because we've moved in the same direction, and then I think also for each other, we build a sense of credibility over time. Like, as we move and we do things and we make decisions, we always know that decision is coming from a good place. In our relationship, and I'll let her speak to this, in our relationship, I'm more of the risk taker than she is, which is good. There's a good balance there. But I'm more likely to be like, yeah, let's do this. And she's like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yes. I see him as the kite. I am the string. I am risk averse. I like to be grounded. And he's like, yeah, let's do this. Even like he's always been that way. And I'm like very practical. Like, no, what about this, and this? And, so sometimes I'm like trying to bring him down and sometimes he brings me up. So I think that's a good balance for us. But you talked about the submission part, and yes, that is, you and the obeying and stuff. But I feel like if you trust your partner and their connection with God, like I know he's talking to God. I know he is relying on him for all the decisions and guidance and stuff. So I know he's not leading me haphazardly. So I can trust him because I know he trusts God. So it's easier to, follow him.
What is one of the misconceptions like being married to a pastor? Because like so when I was coming up, let me just be real. When I was coming up, I would think that a pastor's house always got Jesus pictures everywhere, and ain't nothing but gospel playing, and some holy oil in every room. So what is one of the misconceptions about being married to a pastor?
One that he's only working on Sunday. Like that's when you see him on Sunday, and you're like, okay, he's just working in. No, this is a 24/7 kind of role. Like he's always thinking about, the church, this body of believers. They're either contacting him. He's always focused on them. So it's not just a Sunday kind of job. It's an all the time, full life commitment job. And also your family gets drawn into that too.
And try as hard as you can to shield them from that as much as possible. It's it's not always easy. I think I've always had the mindset, hey, if y'all don't want to go, if y'all don't want to do something, like that's fine. Like I don't get upset, I'm not mad or whatever. Especially as Zachary got older, like hey, we wanted him to be able to have friends and things and his choices and things that he was doing. But he always had just naturally being around us had a passion, and still to this day, still has that. And so that's always been helpful. But I always wanted to give them the space to not feel like this was a burden around their neck. Right. That this would be a joy that they could look forward to and participate in. And so I want to always make sure that we had that. So whenever we would, as much as possible, like when we have time, we're doing something fun, something that's enjoyable, something that's not, directly related to or connected to ministry. So to your point, no, I mean, we're watching, movies or reading or doing something.
Lots of sports.
Comic-Con, like, sneaker stuff, sneaker shows, car shows, like we're doing stuff. to enjoy ourselves and have fun outside of just whatever ministry is, to be more rounded, right? So that it doesn't become, oh gosh, here comes pastor. You can't have this conversation. You can't say this. You can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've known a lot of PKs, and a lot of their conversation was, we had to be at the church. Like it was just to hear you say, like, you tried to shield them from a lot of those things and not necessarily making a burden upon them. It's different to hear. Because like I said, a lot of the preachers' kids I've ever talked to was like, my dad made sure that, because he was the pastor, they made me be in the church. So I think that's great.
We really want Zachary to have his own desire and relationship with the Lord, not something that we force on him. And so, we can't force it. We want him to enjoy it like we enjoy it. And I hope we've modeled that for him. But we can't. We really did. As he got older, we wanted it to be his choice.
Okay. Was there ever a season in your marriage where it felt harder than either of you ever expected? Not related to like pastoral work, but just like, the seasons that people go through when it comes to marriage for 30 years, like.
Right.
Oh yeah. I always say year 5.
Yeah, year 5 was challenging.
Because, we were still young enough. We were like, hey. And Zach was small. And so it was like, we're still young enough. We can get out. And if we wanted to, we could find somebody else. We're still young. And you're growing. And sometimes you're growing in the same direction. Sometimes you're not. And it was, I don't know why year 5 was a challenge, but it was probably, I think, the hardest.
Yeah, I was trying to think of. I don't
know. I can't explain why. It was just like,
it was a really difficult year.
I don't know if it was work related or just having a young child and then also working and just this was pre-church, so
it was before church started.
It was just us, I think, growing and learning to grow. It's okay if we're growing at different speeds and different rates, but you just always have to be careful not to grow apart, still grow.
Yeah, I think for both of us, as we grew, in our relationship with the Lord, and then we grew in terms of this is what our purpose is. And I mean, all the other stuff, something Sophia would say to me, like all the other stuff kind of just fades away, right? Because this is our purposes and this is where we're moving. And so once that was like solidified for us, we were moving towards that, and all the other stuff was just noise. Like a lot of it was just noise. And so we didn't get deterred by that. But year 5 was a challenge.
And maybe looking back on it, God was just preparing us, like, to make sure we're on the same page because he knew what was on the horizon. So.
Okay. Here's a good question here. Do y'all still date?
Not as much as we should, but dates for us can be.
We're so simple.
They can be kind of. I mean, they're fun, but they can be. We were like, "Oh, let's go to Barnes and Noble." Like we love going to the bookstore. We'd be like, "Let's go to the bookstore," and we would have a ball. Like at the bookstore, we'll be in a bookstore, walking around, laughing, talking, looking at books.
We're so simple.
But we've been like that for a while, where it's like, hey, let's go do this thing, or she'll say, hey, let's go look at houses, and we'll go just look at model homes.
Well, I think, we've gone through different phases, and so as we started becoming empty nesters, that's when we had to like figure out like, okay, who are you? Who are we together again? And so I think we were discovering that again. So we're still kind of in that discovery stage, because you also, another phase is like caregiving stage. So it's like different phases. And so, it's still important, but we're simple. Just even going to the grocery store, we just could be a date.
Yeah, we're like, hey, let's go to the grocery store. Or we'll, now we work out together. So we look forward to going to work out together, and we'll talk about, oh, this is what my workout was like. And we'll laugh and talk about that on the way home.
Y'all are so cute. I'm sorry. It's just so cute.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, I guess for me, with 4 younger kids, I think I'm in the kid zone, right? Where like the focus is the kids. And so I think to your point, you're in the empty nester phase where you're rediscovering who, because right now my life is like, I know who my wife is with kids.
Right.
Yes.
Once them kids is gone, then I gotta.
You're going to have to, that's when the dating, you're like, okay. And you're at a different stage, so you can't assume what you guys liked at 25.
Oh yeah, yes,
It's
God.
the same that will be at 45.
Correct.
You know, so
Correct.
it's rediscovering who that person is at that time, not trying to go back to who you were before.
We will sit and have conversations for hours sometimes, and we'll cover a lot of different topics. And it's not necessarily, some of it's deep and some of it's not. You know, we'll just be talking about stuff and have great conversation.
Okay. So 30 years in, what's something younger couples focus on too much nowadays?
One, if you're getting married, I think you're really focused on the wedding part and not necessarily the marriage part.
Man, you hit one of my questions, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was like,
Expound.
you're like, you're getting so prepared for that day. You want that day to be perfect. Okay, well then the marriage is that next, after you, take the vows, like, okay, now how do I live and adjust with this person? Like, this person squeezes the toothpaste tube from the middle. I like it from the end. And, it's like the little things. Like, they left their shoes here. I don't want my shoes. We don't wear shoes inside. It's like those little things that you have to start figuring out. So, and then don't sweat the small stuff is something I think, talk about it then. Don't let it just fester.
Yeah.
And be okay. Oh, be careful how you talk to that person too, because like I would say early on, I would just be like, blah, 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 my whole mind. And then I'm over it. I'm good. And then, 6 months later, he'll be like, you remember when you said, and I was like, oh, I'm past that. You should have said something when I said that then. So like sometimes just holding on to stuff.
Yeah, I would say, prioritizing chemistry over connection, like a sense of this is how I feel. You make me feel like that. Connection to me is a lot more enduring. Like, what is our connection like? Because chemistry can come and go just based on how a person changes and grows over time. That's not necessarily bad in terms of how they grow or change, but I think sometimes there's a lot of focus on superficial surface things that in the grand scheme of things don't really matter long term. And so there seems to be a lot of focus on that. And so I would say the focus really becomes like, what kind of connection do we have and what kind of friendship do we have? If we have a great friendship, we have a lot of influence on each other. We can influence each other. We enjoy each other's company. We enjoy each other's time. We always look out for each other's interests. And so that's the enduring part that I think that doesn't get talked about enough.
Friendship.
Yeah, because friendship gets talked about outside of marriage. Oh, I got my friends.
Yeah.
But not really within the marriage.
Yeah, I find that very interesting nowadays when I see a lot of people who are like, yeah, that's my friend. I can't date them. And I'm like, but shouldn't the person you're dating be your friend? So I think for me, I think it's very important to have the person you're dating or the person that you're married to also be your friend. But I find it very interesting that that's not a thing. Like more younger people shy away from being friends with somebody they're dating, and they're like, well, I want to get to know this person as I'm dating them. It's kind of like, that seems kind of backwards to me. Do you think marriage changes after children?
Yes. Because you're adding a third person who is unpredictable, and or third or fourth or fifth. It depends on how many kids you have. But yeah, it's unpredictable, and each one has, there's a different personality, and and they take up time and space. But yeah, I think that it does add an extra layer, and it can be challenging as well, because for us, we'd never been parents before, so we're trying to figure this out as well as being married.
Yeah, I've always said that hormones change too.
I think so.
So a man is always trying to connect to the person that their wife was before the child, and that's not the same woman post child. I've always felt that way. I could be wrong.
Well, and I also think that there's a certain amount of societal expectations that go along with that too, because in the U.S., for example, children are the center. Like they get centered a lot in marriage, in the family, and so everything becomes about what are we doing for these children, and what kind of experiences are we giving them, and what kind of upbringing are we giving them, and so children get prioritized, and a lot of times, unfortunately, they become the glue that's holding a relationship together. So it does change because it becomes, hey, we got to prioritize these kids. We got to make sure. We seem to think of it sometimes very black and white. We'll think, if I'm not taking care of my kids, then my kids are starving and being neglected. And it's like, no, I mean, there's a whole lot of room in between taking care of your kids and then your kids being starving and neglected. But there seems to be this thought that everything I need to do needs to be for my kids.
Yeah.
And that focus shifts. And parents can work together, usually in that situation a lot of times, but their marriage ends up suffering.
I don't disagree with you. I question some things, right? Because, like, I guess when I grew up, like, I didn't go a lot of places, right? Like, I may, because I'm from Houston, but I may came and visited my cousin, or my dad lived on the north side of Houston, so I may go visit him or something. But I wasn't taking Disneyland trips or Universal Studios, or, during the summer, I'm outside playing with my partners, and, but now it's like, we got to take the kids to this place and they have to have these experiences and so on and so forth. Do you think that, to your point, that that's one of the things that happen now in American society, is that we try to give them so much and then we don't focus on our significant others?
Right.
Yeah.
We can end up giving them a sense of entitlement, that I am entitled to these experiences. I am entitled to these things. And then parents go all of a sudden, where did you get this from? Well, the only person that could have gotten it from is from you. Like, right? Because you created this environment in this world where I'm going to respond to you. I'm going to give you these things. I want to give you all of these experiences, and I want you to do this and this and this. And then parents end up running all over town, running all over the state, all over the country, trying to make sure that they're participating in these things. But what we're teaching them is that they are the center, and they are very important, and the world should kind of revolve around their interest in what they want to do, rather than saying, this is what it likes to be a part of a family. This is what it likes to be in a covenant marriage, and what that looks like, and model that for them.
So mostly stop trying to do big trips with kids and just get outside and play. Focus on your husband and your wife on the inside.
Balance.
Yeah.
Right.
Balance I think is key. But don't forget, and one thing that I would suggest, like for parents, don't forget your marriage part, because it does kind of drop down on the priority list, and you need to make that as a priority, because you do want your kids to see a good marriage. Because think about, who do you want, think about them marrying somebody, and what kind of marriage you want them to have.
Right.
I know when you all were younger, I know you all had conflicts, so on and so forth, and you dealt with them one way. How do you all deal with conflict now versus how you all used to?
For me, before I say anything, I'm praying. I am asking God, like, okay, am I right? Or is this the right path? Or give me the words to say before I even approach him about an issue. So that, if that stops a lot of it. And then if I do go to him, I know I'm going with, I'm not angry, or it's like I'm more settled in it, and then we can have a better conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would agree. It's starting out by, is this a me thing? Is this a us thing? What is this right now? Because sometimes it's more often than not, it's a me thing. Like, okay, this is me. This is not really a thing. And so that stops a lot of it. But also, like she said, like, if it's small, like, some of it's just, you let go of, like, it's not a hill to down. It's not something that's that big of a deal. I think also learning that there are some things that are personality based. They just don't change. and asking a person to alter their personality is too much. So the more that you know a person, you're like, okay, that's the way they are. So I'm not going to ask them to change their personality. So how do I, adjust or accommodate in that situation? That's the personality they have.
Yeah, I think that's big. I think sometimes we miss that mark, right? Like we want our significant other to be just like us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, or all the time, it's not even like that. It's not even close.
Well, that wouldn't be interesting.
Right. I agree. But I mean, somewhere in people, they feel like it would be, right? Like, I wish this person would do this the way that I did it, or say this the way that I did it, or would like them to say it. And it doesn't work like that. And so I think that's really good, is understanding that we're different, and that's okay. So yeah, I think that's awesome. So 30 years in, what's one thing you would tell couples who are struggling silently right now?
What you? It's like you're a professional as well.
I mean, I think kind of like Sophia said, definitely going to the Lord in prayer about whatever you're struggling with before you begin to take that, to the other person, to ask the Lord to show you where you may be participating in whatever that is, because sometimes we don't want to see our own selves. I think one of the most frustrating things that can happen, especially in a disagreement, is when one person says, I did this because you made me do, right? So, well, no, you actually are in charge of your own actions, words, like that's all you. It can be okay to say I responded because I felt this way, but now you're blaming me for both my part and your part, right? And your response to my part. And so things can get lost. And so I think it's important to look at yourself for accountability and say, okay, how am I accountable in this situation? A question that I ask couples too now is something I heard that I use a lot is, if God is your father-in-law, how would he feel about the way you're treating his child? And so in the midst of whatever the silent struggle is, God's my father-in-law. How does he feel about the way I'm treating my wife? Or how does he feel about how I'm treating my husband? Okay, well, that gives me some accountability this way, right? In terms of what it is I may need to do. And then, speaking about the struggle, like sitting down and having a conversation once you've kind of gone through what am I accountable for, and start out by taking accountability for what's yours, and stating that I recognize that I'm accountable in this way.
Therapy is also helpful. You need that third party to kind of help guide the discussion as well.
Y'all two have been to therapy as
not as a couple, individually.
an individual? Okay.
Yeah, we got some stuff fixed individually that fixed
The couple
the
part.
couple part. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like young people give up, or not young people, it's people, give up on relationships too quickly now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, and especially, even pastorally and even in what things that we tend to hear as a couple, a lot of things we hear are really fixable. Like, they really are things that can be fixed. I very rarely hear something that can't be fixed. And usually when I do, I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Pretty bad. Yeah.
And that's usually where there's criminal activity or something.
Yeah,
like that, right?
yeah.
But the majority of things can be fixed. And people just have to decide not to. It is interesting, though, that when a person hardens their heart, like that becomes something that can't be fixed, in my opinion. If a person hardens their heart, it's usually hard to get them to move from that spot.
And it's work. Marriage doesn't come easy, not the one that you want, not the one you desire. You got to put some work in. You're talking about working out. Like, you don't just get the body that you want. You got to put some work into it. You got to watch what you take in, and what you got to be careful. And so it requires work, and I'm not sure everybody is willing to put in the work. They may want it to be easier, or they think it should be easier than that, but it's not. It's work.
Yeah, I 100% agree. When I was teaching, I used to talk to my colleagues sometimes because, these young kids, they be in school and dating and all that kind of stuff. But I used to tell them all the time, I was like, I find it very interesting that most of these kids will work harder at their dating than they would like when they got married. Because you see people, they get married and then they do one wrong thing. I'm divorced, I'm done. I'm like, wow, But no, I absolutely agree. I think that marriage does take work. I think, to your point earlier, there's a lot of energy put into the wedding. And there ain't a lot of energy put into what happens after the wedding. I remember my fraternity pledging days. Like right after we cross over, like our older brothers would be like, all right, now the real work begins, right? So like, yeah, I definitely agree. I think there's a lot of work that has to be put into marriages. So I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, and marriage is not just and maybe that's part of the difference is that for some people it's a heart thing, and marriage is really a head thing too. Like it's not just a heart thing. Like you have to consciously make decisions and choices in terms of when you're deciding to get married and what's going to be best. I will say this sometimes in therapy. I'll ask couples who want to get married, and I'm like, why do you want to get married? And they'll tell me, because we love each other. And I'm like, that's not enough. And a lot of times they're shocked. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, love is not enough of a reason by itself to get married. And the reason why I say that is because if you've had dating history, you could love somebody. And you didn't marry that person that you love. And there were obviously other reasons why. So by itself is not just enough of a reason. So, and I think it's kind of the typical cliche top of the mind thing to say, oh, because we love each other. Let's dig a little deeper.
You think Disney ruined that?
Disney?
Yeah, Disney made marriages and love look so whimsical.
I wouldn't just say Disney alone.
Like,
I would say these meet cute movies and things like that exist. And
little rom-coms.
Yeah, rom-coms and stuff. Where will they, won't they, all that kind of stuff. I think it created the sense of, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. But when you talk to people who've been married, they're like, no, it ain't. Like that's not saying it's bad. It's just like, no, the real work is not like that.
Yeah.
And it's a commitment. Like you got to be committed to either we're going to stay in it and we're going to work on it. It's not, it just doesn't always come easy as you want. Like you keep adding more things to it. It could be a job. It could be kids. It could be, a relocation. It could be health changes. Yeah. Like you got to be committed to work through those issues with your partner.
Okay. All right. I see both of you all have your beautiful blue on here. Question: who takes longer to get ready?
Me.
Wow. Okay, that was quick.
Did you think it was me?
Hey man, you in the shoe game, man. It may take a couple hours for you to pick a shoe, man.
No.
Okay. Who spends the most money?
Him.
Yeah, it would definitely be me.
You in the gadget?
Practical. Remember that I'm practical.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Technology. I'm usually one that says just buy it. Like it's fine. Just go ahead and get it. And she's like, no.
I'm the one who has buyer's remorse. I was like, we could have
saved that money.
Right. I was like, that could have been used for something. I could have,
It drives her crazy because I'm like, oh, I bought this off the internet, or I did this, or one of the things that bothers her, like if I'm like even here around the church, right? When I was getting the furniture, she was like, "You just went online and was like, click, click, click. You bought the furniture, you picked it out, you did." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You didn't know if it was gonna work or not." And I was like, "I was pretty sure it was gonna work."
I was like, "I need to
make it work.
I need to, I was like, I got extra steps. He's just like done, and I'm like,
get it done.
I'm the same way with clothes. Like she was like, "I got to touch it. I want to go." I'm like, "Oh no, I went online about this, and this." Like, yeah,
that's interesting. Okay. Who's more likely to start an argument?
Me.
Okay.
Because I'll ask a question and it just, it's not
snowball
provoking.
into something else.
It's not provoking. I'm just, and he's like, why?
Why? Yeah.
Where did that come from? I was like, I just want to know.
Okay.
Listen.
Who's more romantic?
Him.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's a good gift giver.
All right. Who's more stubborn?
Oh, that could be both of us.
Yeah, it could be both of us.
Really?
That could be both.
Yeah.
Wow. I honestly didn't see it in you.
Oh yeah, it's there.
Wow. Okay.
It's there.
All right. Who's the first to say I'm sorry?
It's probably gonna be her.
Yeah, he'll say it, but then I don't know if I really believe it because I don't know how. I'm sorry that you feel that way. Is what I'm like. What? That's not genuine.
Oh,
Yeah, I
it is.
said it.
I said. I said. My bad. I'm sorry you feel that way.
I was like, but you're not sorry. You just sorry I feel that way.
My thing is, I'm like, we can disagree without being disagreeable. We don't have to be disagreeable.
And then I'm like, don't give me that counseling talk.
I 100%. But see, I'm not a counselor. I 100% agree with you though. We can disagree about this being disagreeable.
We can be disagreeable.
Hey man, I agree. All right, who would survive longer on a reality show?
Depends on what kind of reality show.
Yeah.
All right, what's the one we were looking at yesterday? The one where they out in the jungle.
Oh. Naked and Afraid?
Yes, that one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say you. Because if there are any kind of snake-like something.
Anything
I'm
like
out.
that, you're out.
You're out.
I'm out.
But spiders are good though, right?
I can do spiders before I can do snakes.
Wow, it's interesting. I'm actually the opposite. I cannot stand spiders. You bring a spider around me, I'm everywhere. Who's better with directions?
Huh.
I mean, technically, you probably don't even need it.
Yeah, I was like, now we're
GPS
good.
is, it's got all on your phone, right?
Yeah, I was like, we're both.
Now, if you're talking about directions in general, not just driving directions, that's probably going to be her because she's going to read. Like if it's putting something together, it's doing anything like that, she's going to read
I'm skimming
all
it.
the directions.
I'm skimming it.
I will skim it.
Yeah.
If it's cooking, like she doesn't like to cook with me because I'm like, boom, boom, boom. She's like, why are you even doing that? Like, where did that come from? I'm like, oh, I just know that's.
Yeah, it's a feeling. It's from the ancestors.
Yeah, I don't cook.
There you go.
That's one of the reasons why I was like, oh, you cook? Oh, we're good. I will eat.
Who falls asleep first?
Oh, it's me.
That's him all day.
That's me.
All day.
Yeah, there's this kind of thing where I say, do not try to have a conversation with me when we get into bed. So we would get into bed and she'd be like, I've been meaning to talk to you. I'm like, that's just not.
This is not the right time.
No, because as soon as my head hit the pillow.
As soon as, and that's not fair. Because they'll take me, I got to toss, turn, reposition.
Yeah.
No, my head hits the pillow, I'm out.
He's out.
You know, it's so interesting
That's
to hear
not
these things. It's funny.
It's almost like somebody turned me off. Like somebody just
Like
hit a dial or button, turned me off because I'm
Just
I'm
fade
out.
to black.
But see, I think that's the beauty and the opposites attract, right? Because I find it so funny just asking these questions and hearing the answers. And I'm thinking about me and my relationship at the same time. And my wife is the same way. As soon as that head touches the pillow, she's out. And I'll be mad because she'll be talking to me for like 3 seconds. And then I'll turn over. I'm like, how you do that? Like, how was that possible? Like, I need stuff to go to sleep. I can't just fall asleep.
I
Wow.
have my little mask on. I was like, I got all the things.
Yeah, mine is a process. That's interesting. All right. I'm pretty sure neither one of you all, because it's you 30 years, but who's more likely to forget an anniversary?
We've never had that problem.
See, I told you. I knew it. Yeah. I figured. Have I forgotten an anniversary? Probably not. I haven't. I haven't forgotten an anniversary. All right. One word to describe your spouse after 30 years.
Huh, that's a good one. I don't know. It's so many. But I think determined, because I have seen, like, on so many different levels. We can talk about education, like, the 4 degrees. Like, that second degree took probably 10 years to get. And then he was determined to become a counselor because he was concerned about, like, pastors or ministers trying to counsel people but didn't have, like, the full, knowledge of counseling. And so he was determined to, like, I'm gonna do that. And then he was like, okay, a doctorate. I'm determined to do that. The weight loss, like, that was something he was determined to do. Or if there's anything that, that I need, or our son needs, or if anybody needs, he's just determined to go ahead and make it. So, family. So I'm just like, whatever he's determined to do it.
That's awesome.
So I would say if there was a word to describe would be wise, which her name actually means wisdom. There is a great deal of wisdom there. Just a great sense of being able to discern what's good, what's not good, not just in the sense of right or wrong, but is this good or is this better? Is this best? And so being able to do that, wisely being able to acknowledge when, okay, this is something that we probably need to pull back on or something we need to push forward with. Even though she's not a risk taker, there have been things along the way where she's been the one to say, hey, let's do this, But I know that comes from a place of deep wisdom that I think certainly God has gifted her with over our 30 years together.
Okay. All right. After 30 years, what makes this journey worth it?
I think when we look around and we see the fruit of it, like that is just undeniable, because we both would say there is nothing about us that we should even be able to do the things that we've been able to do. We were talking over the weekend as we were kind of thinking about the last 30 years, and we've had so many incredible experiences, things that to some people maybe would seem, like not a big deal, but to us they were, just because we know our story. You have to think about it. 30 years, we have been the majority of our adult lives we've been together. Right? So pretty much all the stages, experiences, we've been there with each other. And when we sit back and look at the fruit of our lives, like we are walking in things that we never imagined and or expected. Like we just didn't. Yeah. We didn't dream. And if we would have done anything different, I guess maybe dreamed bigger, knowing what could be possible would be the thing. But other than that, just seeing the fruit of what God has done through us.
I love it. You had anything?
No, that was.
He summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, that was great.
Okay. Yeah. So 30 years. This has been amazing. I feel like I've learned more about you all. You can go back into hiding now after this. But no, this has been very enlightening. And I know for me, something that I can take in not only to my own marriage, but hopefully for people watching at home, they can also take into their marriage. So everybody stand up, give a standing ovation for 30 years of marriage here. I think this is awesome. Also, I do want to make this amazing announcement that we are going to be taking a pause for a second, a nice little break. We tired. No, I'm just joking. But no, we're taking a break, going to look at some things, but also we needed to make sure that when we come back, we have some great episodes and things going forward. And so just letting you know, we're going to be taking a break. Go back and look at some of our older episodes if you haven't done it. Go look at the first episode or the second episode when we were squeezed together in the office to try to make this thing work. But yes, check us out, and then we will be back in the next, I think it's 2 months if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And so be prepared for us to come back. Other than that, this has been great again. I loved having you all, talking to you all. Don't forget, this is not just a Sunday talk. This is an everyday walk, and we will see you all next time.